Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review of the Good and the Beautiful math program. If this is something you're interested in, go ahead and keep watching. Hello, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Lovely to have you here. If it is your first time, my name is Christine and I am a homeschooling mom of 3 kids and I'm a second generation homeschooler. So homeschooling is something I really love talking about and sharing about and encouraging other mamas when and where I can. So please do subscribe if you're interested in seeing more homeschool content because that is what I share here. Today I'm chatting to you guys about the Good and the Beautiful math, and I have talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to do like a thorough overview and thorough review of their math program that we have used so far. So we have used Level K, Level 1, and Level 2 math. Level 3 math is the last year that the math comes with a manipulatives box. I cannot believe my eldest child is going to do that next year. And then we're moving on to the math that has video lessons, which is super exciting. So I feel like I've got pretty good experience to share with you guys how I find this program, how it works, and whether or not I recommend it, which obviously I do because I use it myself. But I just want to share my thoughts about it with you guys. So we use their Level K and their Level 1 in the old edition. I really like their Level K. I did not enjoy their Level 1 so much. And the main reason was that there were so many moving parts in the manipulatives box. And it was too much. So when they said that they were bringing out a new edition, like a completely new version of their math, I was actually thrilled about it. I know not everyone was. I was absolutely thrilled. And I have not been disappointed at all. So, like I said, levels K through 3 come with a math manipulative box. The PDF for all of their math levels is 100% free to download and print yourself. And it is exactly the same as the physical version. If you were to buy the physical copies, you're going to get the same thing. So I have printed these at home, downloaded them, laminated, bound, all that kind of stuff myself at home. And I didn't have to pay anything for that. So that was a really big blessing. I did go ahead and purchase all of the math manipulative boxes because I'm using this with all of my kids. So it's paying itself off basically. But aside from that, I live in New Zealand. So getting things shipped here costs a lot of money. And so whenever I can do things digitally and just download and print, I choose that option. So let's chat a little bit about these courses and what they involve. Level K is beautiful and it's also very short and sweet. It does not take a long time to do. Pretty much all of the lessons are a 2-page spread, and on the pages it always starts with like a review box. Now that review box gives you options for things to review if your child has yet to master them. So this is really great because it means that you don't have to do it if your kid doesn't need it, and it cuts down lesson time. But if your child does need that time to go over it, then they can go ahead and do that. Then you have the lesson. And now there is a math manipulative box. Not every lesson uses that box. And I just tend to skim over the blue writing because that'll very quickly tell you whether or not you need to be grabbing anything from the math manipulative box. And then you know whether or not you even need to grab it for the day. So that's super helpful. So you do the lesson with your child. And honestly, I would say it takes like 5 to 10 minutes to do the lesson. And then there's often like a little bit of review. And even though it doesn't say independent work, I find that with my child, almost always she can do some of the lesson independently, which is super helpful when you are teaching more than one child. And so often, like you'll see on this page, there is addition at the end. This is not a new concept for her, and so I'll just say, just do these math problems while I'm working with your brother. And she does it. And it's great. And I would say math very rarely takes more than 15 minutes for my 5-year-old to do. Now, their math curriculum, you need to know, is a spiral curriculum. So they are constantly going over new concepts. So you may find that they'll introduce a concept and then you won't see that concept for a little bit. Although in my experience, it's almost always in the review. But do not fear. If you find that they're like given a concept and then they're given another concept and you're like, wait a second, we haven't like really mastered that. It's because they're going to constantly spiral back and come back to it. And so it's not like it's ever just taught once and it's done. There will always be review of the concepts. So level K is beautiful. Lots of lovely illustrations, and I feel like it's exactly what a level K program should be, just short and sweet and to the point. Level 1 was also beautiful. We used some of that last year with my son, and he really enjoyed it. Level 2 is what we're doing this year, and I definitely noticed a bit of a step up in the amount of math there is to do in it. So the level 2 I find is typically a 2 to 3 page, usually it is a 3 to 4 page spread, quite typically. And there is an independent review section. So what I very typically do with my son is I get him set up with the independent review section and just say, do this. And most of the time he can work out what he needs to do. While I work on the lesson with my daughter, and then I give her her independent, well, it's not technically independent review, but whatever she can do independently, I leave her to do that while I do the lesson with my son. So I'm like hopping back and forth between the two, and it works very well. But level 2 set up in exactly the same way, really, as level K. You've got the box there where you can go over the concepts that may need reviewing. Then you've got the lesson, which often takes up a couple of pages. There's usually places like for him to learn the lesson and then apply those concepts. And then you get your independent review section, and that's basically where they can go through and just review the concepts that they've done before and the lessons that they've learned before. This is where I tend to be quite liberal. If I feel like he's really already mastered a concept, then I won't make him review that. Or if there's like lots of addition problems or subtraction problems and he's fairly efficient with it, I will often just get him to do every second one. So if you're a new homeschool mom and that's a new concept to you, don't be frightened to do that. You know your child best. When I was homeschooled, there was nothing better than my mom being like, do every second problem or do the odd problems or the even problems. Like, yeah, once you've been doing it for a while, you realize that it's totally fine to do that. So if you know your child knows it, it's okay. Just have them review it every now and again, but like, it's totally fine for them to skip stuff. So this, again, same thing with the manipulatives box. It doesn't always use it every lesson. One thing I will say that level 2 uses a lot is a whiteboard. So make sure you've got a whiteboard and marker at the ready, and you might not always see it very easily written in there when they need to use it. So I just try and have that on hand whenever I bring his book out for him to use, because it's fairly regular that it's called on. So level 2 has been going really great for us. One thing I will say that I've really enjoyed about their math is the way that they do their course assessment. So I can flip like to one of them, and basically it takes a couple days to go through it, but they get to just work out the problems. If there's any issues with it, then there's additional practice. So it just gives you an idea of how well they understand the concepts that they've been taught and if additional practice is needed. But it's not strictly a test in like a traditional sense, but it also is. It's an assessment. So it's just to give you an idea of what they need. It's not a graded test where it's like they have to get a certain mark to pass. It's more of an idea for you as a parent to understand where they are, but you could use it as a graded test if you need to. So that's something to be aware of. I have found their math to be thorough and very age appropriate. I know that some people have complained about like the math being like, they felt like the new edition was brought down in difficulty. But you can always put your child up if you need to. Like, don't feel like you're being tied down to a specific level just because that's the age or the grade of your child. Make sure you do the assessments and go where they fit. Now, after level 3, it moves on to video lessons. So the video lessons aren't necessary, but they are strongly recommended. There is like a mini lesson in the book if you would prefer to use that. I really, really love the lady who does the video lessons, and I'm so excited for my son to do those when the time comes because she's just so animated and engaging, and they don't like talk down to the kids in the lessons, but they also make it very understandable. And so I'm excited for that. Math was the one subject that I really struggled with my mom. We butted heads a lot over math, and it was in the higher levels in like algebra and stuff. And so for sure in my homeschool journey, I'm looking for math where I've got like someone who can come in and explain concepts that perhaps I don't understand and can't explain fully. Even though I was fairly efficient and like, or proficient at math, I don't know how great I'll be with my own kids. So that's always something to consider. But if you would like a curriculum that offers a nice balance of independent work and one-on-one work with your child, then I think this is definitely one to look at and consider and make the curriculum work for you. Like I said, it's free to download, so you have got like no risk involved in at least trying it out if you want to. And I'm just thrilled with it. I really, really like their math program. And I feel like my kids are learning really well. And because like my kids are different, obviously. I've got one kid who is picking up reading very quickly. One kid who struggled a little bit in that area. And then you kind of flip-flop that with math. One kid is very good at math, and I don't have to do a lot of teaching there because they pick it up real quick. And the other kid struggles a little bit more in that area. And that's more than likely just an age thing as well. But I haven't felt like I needed to worry about this child like missing out on anything if she hasn't mastered it the first time, because there's so much review and repetition. I know that those concepts are going to be taught again and again and again. And so there's plenty of time for them to pick it up as they, get older and go through the other levels. Because again, cycling back, I really like that. So it's been great. There's lots of pictures and fun. There's fun stories, but there's not like a ton of reading. Usually there's a story at the beginning to explain a math concept, but it's short and sweet and to the point. My kids really enjoy it. So I hope that was a good overview for you guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The world had more of your smile. What if the wind could spread your love